Hello, and welcome. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Be Play. I appreciate you for being here today. You could be listening to anyone else, but you're here on today. And I'm gonna tell you right now that and I'm so excited. It don't sound like it, but I'm just trying to keep my composure because my God is just so awesome. I have made it in my mind last month. Well, last month, either last earlier this month or last month. But listen, and I'm gonna talk about it when we get to 2026. I'm gonna remember because, but I just realized you either trust God or you don't. And seriously, seriously, like you either trust him or you don't. And that's where I'm at. And every day he's constantly showing me what it really means to really trust him. And I'm just loving it. I got a lot of things going on. Of course, it's like in July and kids about to go to college and stuff like that, and the costs, and the mountain seems big, but not too big for my God. Now I'm trying to tell you, and I said this multiple times over and over again, that I know there's a lot of people who really don't, believe in God, and some of my listeners, wherever they stand, wherever you stand in that. But he has done so much I've been through a lot of things to know that he is absolutely real in my life. And we've been through so much where I have learned that it's better to do it his way. Like I'm talking about like 100% his way for me. Now, for everyone else, to each his own, but for me, um, it's better to do it his way. And yeah, we've been through too much, and I learned it. Like, yeah, it's Alisa, you're not great at making decisions. You're not great at governing your own life. You're just not good at this. Not something you're good at a lot of things, but this is not something you're good at. And I better leave it up to the pros, and leave it up to him, the pro. Okay. So with all that being said, um, that's just where I am right now. To be honest, I'm trying to tell you that's where I am because he just keep doing it. He just keep doing it. Um, so let's get into this episode. We are in 2025. This is big. I'm not with no what parts this really is. So we're just in 2025. To recap on where we stand right now. Basically, I am because I've been Jesus. Basically, to recap on where we talked about how from the beginning of 2025, from basically January 1st, began to really begin to deal with this underlying inner conversation within myself that I pretty much kept to myself. I haven't disclosed to anybody that Alisa feels unworthy. Like she walks around every single day thinking that she's unworthy. And for the most part, she felt like, that, I don't know, just something that she thinks about her own self, and it really shouldn't have no effect on nobody else because she's not telling nobody else. She's not, this is how she looked at herself. Like she's unworthy, that she's too much because first of all, you can tell from the up to this point in the conversation that, and those that know me, in person, that, I have been in a conversation. People like this always make somebody cry. I don't be trying. I just be me. And I don't know, something just, I don't know. But I knew from, I guess, day one, basically, that I was different. I was definitely different. I definitely was rare. And, you know, and I struggled with that throughout my life for the most part. Um, because I knew that I was different. And I mean, we all different, but I was different. Like I really, like I just didn't really, for the most part, did not fit in any. There was even in church and stuff. I feel like most times, even still, I still really didn't fit in because I was different. Um, Things that goes on and you know or whatever in church or whatever we had, you still can like spot me because I'm still don't fit in with everyone, right? Um, she's still so different, and I struggle with that for many different reasons and whatever. And so, with all that being said, that this unworthiness that I was feeling, um, not worth it, really, it was brought to the surface. Something that I knew that God really needed me to deal with so that I can, you know, my ultimate desire was for God to get the return on his investment. And this was in a way. And so we had to deal with it. And this is hard for me because I'm dealing with something that I literally just like, oh well, you're unworthy, so just keep it moving. you know, no one's never really going to be there for you. And if they're there for you right now, they're not going to stay here because no one stays there for you, Elisa. Like, you know what I mean? This is what we say to ourselves because this is what happens. This is just the evidence of things that happen. No one stay there long enough for you. Eventually, they realize that you're too much and they walk away from you. Um, and so I'm just waiting for that to happen. And so this is where we are here in 2025. We're just waiting for that to happen. Um, there was relationships I told you that was happening, and so I was just waiting for and waiting not just for that to happen for, but for that conversation, for it to where they basically tells me what I know all along. You are too much for me. You cost too much for me. And so I walked around 2025 and like, oh, I cost too much. I'm too much. I'm too much. I'm too much. But I'm now kind of like, okay, this is what it is. And I'm feeling this and I'm now begin to try to not walk around like, oh my God, Lisa, you're too much, but more like embrace it. Like, at least you're just too much and you're just going to be by yourself for the rest of your life. And it is what it is. Like, for the most part, like, um, you belong by yourself because, you know, you people can't withstand with so much of you. And so now again, although I felt this about myself, which is fine to some degree, and I'm saying fine as far as I feel, it's not really fine because God like, no, that's not what I'm saying about you. Like he wasn't saying that, but this is what I was saying. And so, but I I have gone through this throughout my life, and I explained this in the last two more into detail, but it's still happening because now we have to deal with the way people see me and the way I see me, because people see this, I guess, the strong individual who got her things together. I definitely did not see that. Okay, we did not see the strong person. I don't know what strength that they see. I don't know because I'm just barely making it. Like I be just barely hanging on, and but and they are attacking me as if I'm the strong person, and I'm just like it wasn't matching, right? And it wasn't making sense. And so I talked about how, and mind you, like I said, like I've been struggling this for the basically the first um I guess, like we'll say up until, actually, I guess you might as well say up until this time last year. So all the way up until the summer, we, I think by the end of, what I'm really thinking about, by the end of the summer of last year, um, we stopped struggling. During the summer months is where we really tackled the, really tackled it. Like, it's been there. It was right here, and I was by myself because I wasn't talking to, um, my therapist as much as I was, or my person, um, because of schedules, because of things that I was doing and things that they were doing. And so, and then when we do have a conversation, I don't go into it because it's too much, and we don't have them, and it's not that much of a time to really go into it. And so, um, I really didn't get into it at first until May, or June, should I say? Um, yeah, until June. And so then there was a lot that I dealt with, and it brung up a whole lot of other things. And so the summertime of last year is really when I really, really tackled it. And I will say by the end of summer, by at least September, we really was at the point where we're just not, like, I stopped saying that I was too much. I stopped saying that I cost too much, because I wanted, my birthday was coming, and I didn't want to go into my birthday saying all this stuff. So yeah. So with all that being said, so you're going to hear me really talk about this for the next couple of episodes, because again, like I said, I was struggling with this for a very long time. Um, and yeah, I was struggling with this, and I've been struggling this for basically all my life. So now we're really trying to get it to the nitty gritty, and um, you know, and everything else. So I told you guys, throughout this healing journey, and I told you guys in the beginning when in the episode, and if you don't know the episode, then, go find it, where I told you what to expect when you get into start your healing journey. That these, there's multiple layers to these things, like literally multiple layers. Um, I'm 40. I'm 40. I've basically been saying I'm 40 already, but because technically I am, this is my 40th year, right? So like when you turn one, right, it's the end of your first year of your whole life, right? So technically I'm 40, okay? Um, so if you're older than me, you have a lot of years, more years than I have to really unpack. And so there's a lot more layers to things. Um, and so I want us to really, really take the time to, like, just like really see what is those inner like really pay attention to those inner conversations you have with yourself that you don't tell nobody. Even if you're married, you don't necessarily tell your spouse, right? There's some things that we be feeling about ourselves that we literally don't tell them. We keep to ourselves these how we really look at ourselves, um, and like ask yourself who, like, really ask yourself who you are. Who am I? What do I really think of myself? Because that matters. That really matters of what you think yourself. Because other people, and I'm not saying that they're lying, and I'm not saying that how they see you is not the exact truth, because they can see the truth and you still be believing a lie, and your lie become your truth, right? Because the strong person, I am strong. Oh my God. Sorry. Sorry, you guys. I have never. ah! You what? I can't believe I just said that. But anyway, because we don't say that, right? Um, but I am, right? And so mm, that was a lot, you guys. That was a lot because I don't think I have never said that, but that's the truth. Mm. So you hear that? I have never said it about myself. I have called myself a lot of things, but strong is something I have never called myself. Like I never said it that you're strong. Other people, yes, at least no. Um, but um, I am a strong person, and so that right there shows like growth, healing, um, because even after all this healing process that I have went through the last 3 years, and we are now in 2026, I still does not say to my, I still not say, oh, Elisa, you're strong. I still be like, no, I don't know about that, but I am. So this episode, we're learning how to literally uh, dig deep with those inner conversations with ourselves and think about what we're actually calling ourselves versus what other people see and versus what God see. Because perception is everything. Now, if you don't believe in God, then obviously, you know, obviously. But if you do, for those that do, then it's time to literally like get a book and begin to write down uh, those those inner conversations that you have with yourself, what you really call yourself, versus with other people, versus with God, and ask God to show me what are you really saying about each and everything. So whether if you call yourself strong, do you really believe that, or you just think you are because of what other people said that you are? Um, because what I was saying was people call me strong, so I guess I'm strong because a lot of people call me strong, so I guess I am. That's what I used to say, but now I know because that's what He told me. So this is what God said, and so that's what this episode is going to be about because this is something I had to learn and literally was doing and perception. That is the key word for this episode, for this time frame in my life is perception. How I perceive, how people perceive, and how God perceives. And what actually matters the most. Because here is where, because perception is everything. Like perception versus reality is everything. There's a lot of people just walking around and living in a perception and not necessarily the reality of things. And so, because like what people see on the outside was strength. They saw me holding it all together. They saw me like, oh my gosh, she just got this great calling on her life for this and that and the other and all that. And what I saw was this person who is I know I got a calling on my life. I know it because I could tell by the things that I went through up until now, how I went through it, how God fought for me, um, and how the enemy was fighting so much to keep me in a state so that I really wouldn't walk into the calling. So I understood that I had a great calling in my life through those things. But because I wasn't walking in it as far as I was concerned, um, I didn't see me strength. I saw me weak. I didn't see the strength. I saw the weak. I saw weakness. All I saw was weaknesses. Um, all I saw was this. I saw a failure as a mother. I saw a failure as a wife. I saw a failure as a daughter. I saw failure in every area of my life, to be honest with you. Um, uh like the gifts that I did have, I still see failure into that. Like, as far as singing, like I'm like they're like, oh my God, it's you. You can sing, and I'm like, I can carry a note, right? Um, I didn't see myself being able to sing. I saw myself being able to carry a note, have some experience, and learn how to do something. I've been singing all my life, so um, basically, so I don't know, but those are the things that I was seeing. The enemy has, used people because anybody can be used. Okay, anybody. And if you didn't know that anyone can be used by the enemy. You just gotta have an open door. You just gotta open door and be willing to be used, but or not willing, but anyone can be used. Okay, um, and so it has a lot of things to keep me in that space too, because if I stay in that space thinking I'm nothing or can't really do nothing, then I'm not gonna be that much of a threat to the kingdom. So I because this really had it created me to be at a standstill. I was at a standstill, you guys. And I'm saying this because this is what I really was at a standstill. Like every single day, going to work, coming home, trying to be a mother, and my children was, and it was hard because my children was actually struggling at this point. Um, Last year, well, not at this point last year, but like around this time, the first half of the year, they were struggling, and it was it was hard to see them struggle, and I can't usually, or at least up until then, between once I started my healing journey, things like that, I had things to say. I didn't have nothing really to say. I didn't know how to be what I need to be for them. They were struggling with some inner with them and their perceptions of how they feel with themselves, which I didn't realize until May, really. And we're going to talk about that because I'm actually breaking this into more episodes and more parts. So we're going to get to that. But I didn't realize that it's see this I'm this is okay. This is the main reason why I'm saying this of first perception, because it's the things that you're not saying. I said this before and I'm really saying it. It's those things that you're not saying and you're not talking about and you're not dealing with. Those inner conversations that you feel about yourself, that you have about yourself as you walk around, those inner fears and insecurities, and that you kind of keep to yourself, you're not releasing for whatever. Maybe you feel like you can't trust nobody to really release it. You feel like you're a punk if you release it. Whatever your reasons why you're not releasing these things, and you can constantly allowing this to be your conversation every single time you try to do something, or whatever you go through out your day. You go to work, you come home, you be a wife, you be a husband, you be a brother, you be a sister, you be a mother or father, whatever you are, you be these things, and you try to go through your daily life. You even try to stay busy with work, with hobbies, with partying. A lot of people drink and smoke and get weed, or get high and all that stuff like that, to try to silence the voices instead of just dealing with it. What we're not understanding is, especially if you're a parent, that those voices are not quieted, but it's louder, and it's seeking through your pores enough to the point that now your children, this is the very thing that your children is walking in. And so my children were struggling, and I didn't understand it all. To some degree, I understood to that some of the things as I was looking at what they were struggling, and I was just trying. And then it made me feel even worse as a mother because this is my fault, right? Because no one was never there for you. And so I was trying to be there for them. But this is how I've been. It did not, um, like, I just embraced it. Oh, Lisa, you're just unworthy. You're just too much. That's what I embraced. I began to, not fight it, as I say, like, don't fight that you're too much. Just embrace it. You're just too much. It's okay. So I was. I'm trying not to cry, you guys, but because I was really seeing what it was doing to my children. Um, in this time frame, I told you after. This is after I explained about how I was at work and the lady who was trying to read my palm and how the enemy was using it against me, but it heightened this. So I'm like, all right, Elisa, and I think that's why I was like, oh, but there's nothing wrong with being too much. It's just who you are. You know, you're just you're rare, and you're too deep. um, all these things. Don't be mad. Just this is who you are. Embrace it. I'm okay. So I was like, yeah, I'm too much. Like I didn't always say it to every single body. I just walked in it. I was getting to walk in it. But that is not the truth. So now I'm picking up this lie and I'm walking in it. But what I didn't realize is how much and how detrimental it was to my children. Because it's only certain people that heard me say that I'm too much, you know. Um, but I really believed it, like, and every time I said that, and they was said that, no, you're not. I just, it just every time they said it, it just like boggled me. Like, what do you mean? Yes, I am. Like, and I began to really like see here I'm too much, here I'm too much, here I'm too much. And so especially because I said this is the reason why people always walk out of my life, and this is why people don't be what they need, that I need them to be in my life. And I'm talking about my daddy. I'm talking about in some way even my mother, um pastors, uh aunties, and because I cost too much. I'm too much. In order for them to be what they need to be in my life, that means they will have to come up. And that's too much. Right? It costs too much. And so instead of just doing that, they just whatever. Everybody's different, but either walk away or um beat me up with their words and um just use me, you know, get as much as they need out of me and then just throw me away like I'm nothing. Because you know, like I said, I've been in church all my life and we got these great gifts and all these things, and I told you I don't play about God because He don't play about me. And even when I was walking around, running around, doing what I want to do, there's some things I just didn't play by Him. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't walking around like we can get that's another episode. But with all that being said, um, but especially when I came back to God, like you know, Alisa, the way she prays, the way she when she sings, and this and that. Oh, I need that in my life. Even as a leader, they need that. They need someone as young as I was that in tune to God and his spirit to be able to be over this and be over that and to do this and be there for me here, blah, 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 and this and the other. And that's fine. But at the same time, like, I don't need to just take your place to some degree. Like, you still need to be my leader. You still need to be there for me. I still should be able to come to you. You still need to pour into me and this and the other. And I felt like, well, no one can pour into me because I'm too much. Like, how can you pour into someone that's already at a higher standard in a higher place than you are or a higher level than you are? So, well, so these are the things like that I was feeling, and I was just like, well, it's just because you're too much. And I just said, well, just embrace it. This is why people just leave you. This is why people, whatever, because they can't, Now, I wasn't to the point where I was trying to change it of not being too much because we went through that, like, to some degree. I can't change because this is who I am, when we're trying to let God get the return on this investment. If I change it and become lessened, then we was working on this. I'm not going to lessen myself. I'm just going to embrace it, and then God's going to move through here. I just knew that's what He was saying to me. But that's what I was feeling. I was walking in it, and my sister. We go through this retreat, and my sister had a book about like I don't remember what it's called. We're going to come back to that because I'm not make sure I have the right. I didn't even read the book yet. Actually, I was supposed to read the book. She read it, but just the title alone had me all messed up for a whole month. So, but this is where I was. I was at a standstill. I was struggling. Then I began to, instead of struggle, just embrace it. It never felt right, but it didn't matter. I was going to make it feel right, because this is how I was going to get through. This is the answer. This is why those who did leave in my life, this is why they left me. And then those who was about to leave in my life, this is why they leaving me, because I'm too much. I cost too much. This even, continue to, like, this makes more sense of why people did not become what I needed them to be in my life, because at least that's gonna cost too much. You talk about me, I have to come up higher. Oh no, I can't do that because that's cost too much. I mean, I gotta heal. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna heal to be what I need to be in your life. Are you serious? Okay, that's where I was. So I'm telling you guys, this is these are my inner conversations. This is how I walked out through the day, every single day. I begin to, this will make sense. This is why this person left. This is why that person left. This is why this person never got healed from to be where they need to be in my life. Because you were too much. It was your fault. It was your fault, I mean, it made sense. It made sense. And then that's because that's what fed, or that's just this, you're cost too much, you're too much, is what was the foundation of why I felt unworthy, because it's like, well, how come I wasn't worthy enough for you to become what you needed to be in my life? Like, why didn't you, for those who are in God, mind you, I grew up in the church. Now, when I'm saying that, and I'm saying is that I was born, okay? Like, I didn't have a choice in the beginning of, I have a choice now, but I didn't have a choice in the beginning, right? When I was born, my mother and my father was in the church. You don't have a say whether you were going or not. And so for me, I felt now again. So I was in the church, and I was in there every Sunday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I heard the word and them say, and my mama even taught it at home. My nana taught me at home. But seek ye first. To acknowledge him, to trust him with all their heart and acknowledge him. Like so many scriptures of the word what I hear to seek him. And so that means if you're seeking him, then you should seek him on how to be what you need to be for me. That's all I expected. And if he was saying heal to be what you need to be for me in those leadership roles, why, what is it? What was about me that you felt like you couldn't be there for me? So we had to deal with this, you guys. This was my underlying those inner conversations, the foundation of me walking around here feeling like when people are like, "Oh, you so strong," and I'm like, "I'm not that strong. I'm not that good because I wasn't good enough for the people that I needed in my life." Um, this is no, I wasn't that good enough, you guys. I don't know what y'all see, but the truth is that's not the truth. That's what I was to say. It's not, I don't know what y'all see. Um, because and this is really like because that's how I felt, but I kind of like push it for the most of my years. I kind of pushed that to the side or whatever, and I kept trying. You know, like I said, people were saying like you're strong, you're this, you're that, um, and it wasn't equating to how I really felt by myself. And I tried to walk into that, and it wasn't working to some degree. And a lot for most of my years. So now we hear where God is like, oh, Lisa, we got to deal with all of that. And okay, so I understand why we gotta deal with that because we are. I'm not gonna fight you with that because I tried to, and we realized it's not working. But I didn't see the evidence of where this was a lie. It took me a minute to figure that out. But so and God and you know no one really chooses me for real. Like no one chooses me for real. They just choose me because they know the benefits that I hold. So if I'm that in tune to God, oh my God, if I'm doing too I just with her, then I should be good because the blessings that she gets is going to rub off on me and it's going to flow over to me. Like that's why people was like, you know, near me to some degree. I didn't really think that anyone that really was with me because they really liked me or things like that. For the most part, again, for those that know me, we already know because I now see now, even though I felt this, I'm actually being honest about it, right? You know, that too. Like I really was honest about it, right? Um, and so I'm just not holding it. You know, did I really no, I wasn't expecting people to really be my friends and things like that. Um, so like even I even said this when I first started this podcast. Um, when everybody um when I would talk about the things that I've been through or the things that has transpired, even this healing process, because I started this podcast through this healing process. And I remember after the first episode, the amount of the responses that I received, I definitely didn't understand. Like I know people like, yeah, if you got a podcast, I'm gonna listen to it. I expected neither one of them to listen to it, to be honest with you. Even when I was about to do it, when I kept saying I'm gonna do it, and it was like, wait, what's taking you so long? I just feel like that's what people say. You know, like some things we just say. We just, you know, become, you know, just a little more somebody sneeze, you say, God bless you. It's just an automatic response that we have learned to say. So and a lot of things, somebody say they're going through something, we say, oh, I'm sorry, like automatically, right? But that doesn't mean that we actually believe that we actually mean it. So again, remember, I always don't think people. This is why I don't think people were ever gonna be there for me, and this and the other. And for those who were, eventually they were gonna leave, because everybody always leaves because they realize that I'm too much. So here, I want us to, at this moment, what do you think about yourself? Let's look at the reality. Are you at a stand? Because you may be at this point too in your life where you realize that you are at a standstill. And why are you in a standstill? Because there's these inner conversations that you be having with yourself, these inner lies that you have made your truth based upon whatever the evidence. Maybe you felt like me, not necessarily felt like you're unworthy, but felt like, because there was so much abandonment that you had went through your life, whether it was your parents, whether it was teachers, whether it was, whatever case may be. So you're walking around, it must be my fault. So you can't even believe the truth. That even the truth that even God himself is trying to tell you, you can't believe it. Like he must be lying too. Um, this is where I was, you guys. Um, this is where it was. And we're going to get into the next episode. I get to the transition, because it was affecting my babies, and y'all know I love my babies. um and when I realized that this was affecting my babies, something had to change. Something had to change. So I leave you with this in this episode to take some time, get a book, whatever you got to do, say it out loud, whatever. Get a, write down what you think about yourself. Write down. I would say sorry, you guys. I would say like make it like a line or whatever. Make a couple columns, but depending on what you think about yourself, it might be a whole page. And I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm being honest and I'm being serious. So write down what you think about yourself. What do you think about yourself? How do you perceive yourself? Do you perceive yourself as kind? Do you see yourself as mean? Whatever. What do you perceive about yourself? What do others perceive about you? And if you believe in him, what did God really believe for what you, as far as you know, up until this point? Because this right here matters. This right here matters. Because it matters. And if you're a parent, I applaud you to do it now, because it will open up your eyes to a lot. Wow, that's why my kid does this and that and the other. As much as you say one thing, to be honest, what you say is not what they really is picking up. They're picking up what you're not saying. They're picking up what you're not saying. You may walk around like you thinking that you're this confident person and you just want them to pick up your confidence. But the reality is you're walking around as if you're confident, but you're not really confident, because inside you're not confident, right? And so they're going to pick up what you really feel. And I know that because that's what I picked up. Like there's things that my mama said and I'm like, no. And then we picked up and really truly believed the things that she wasn't saying. Sorry, but that was the truth. That's the truth. Um, so I'm in this episode right here, and on that note, and remember and always know that you are loved. Not not just a little, but greatly. Not just today, but forever. Not just by some, but by the one who created you in his love. And he's not the only one. We love you unconditionally. And there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that you can do to change that. Until next time. water. So I have a big lake